and you guys are watching This Week in Android. As always, Jeff Ammons is here with me. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
It's good. You're in Mark Jeffrey's chair.
I know, I am. He's left us.
I know, he's left us. He's cheating on us with Peter Gabriel tonight. So I can't say I blame the guy. You're like, I don't know about that.
I don't even know who that is. Whatever. Old people.
Some old guy. Yeah, he's out of town. He's been abducted by Peter Gabriel. Apparently, they're going to be rocketing into space to save the world. But our app of the week this week is Tripit. And we have Hootan Mahallati, which is our the mobile product manager of Tripit with us. How are you doing?
Hi, Ashley. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Good, great. Good. How are you? Thank you for coming on the show. And we always let everyone know, feel free to pipe in at any time with any thoughts you might have on anything that's going on in Android. So we have this video that I saw earlier this week, and I think it's like one of the coolest things ever. I'll just show a quick clip of it, but it's TechRestore.com did this HTC Incredible Disassembly video. So can we run that? We don't have it?
Oh,
okay, we'll see if we can find it for later. But let's do the news. Last week we were talking about the Droid Incredible being sold out until, was it the 4th or something like that? Now it's backed up to the 14th. So the Incredible is still sold out.
Oh, disappointing.
Disappointing, but only for online.
Yeah.
Only for online. Like if you really want one, you can go into a brick and mortar store. Which who does that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't remember the last thing I bought like in a real store.
I did buy my phone in the store, so.
Did you?
I mean, you got to go on the first day, and it's exciting.
Tactile. You gotta.
Yeah, exactly.
So you like went in there and were like, I gotta check this phone out. Like you weren't sure if you were gonna buy it.
I was sure I was gonna buy it.
So then why didn't you just buy it online?
Oh, I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You just want the Evo, don't you, Jeff?
I do. You know, I would go for one. I don't want to change. I don't want to change from Verizon though, so I gotta.
Yeah, I'm the resident Evo champion on this show. Like I'm like, I can't wait to get my Evo, but that's because I'm already on Sprint and I have a Palm Pre, and it's pretty much at the end of it. It's dying a slow, sad death, and then being absorbed into HP. So, yeah. So if you want an Incredible, online is not the place to buy it. So you're gonna want to either go into a store and get one, or you're just gonna have to wait. Or you can just wait till the Evo comes out. I know, a whole week. It's
tragic, yeah.
Tragedy, I know. All right, our next story is that surprisingly, the oldest Android firmware is still the most popular.
Yeah, just barely. I remember seeing that article.
It's close.
Yeah, it's close.
It's really close.
You know what's actually more shocking about that is that 2.1 is pretty much completely taken over 2.0. Like 2.0 is like a very small fraction of phones.
Yeah, like they were saying that that I guess a lot of people, like 90% of Samsung Moments, were running a non-current software version. And so for Motorola and the Droid, like that was really amazing that they had gotten most people off of 2.0.
That's what was shocking to me. It's like they actually made that upgrade work. I mean, look at Internet Explorer, like who still uses 6? There's still like a vast number of people using like 10-year-old software or whatever.
Yeah,
and so but
they just have, they don't want to upgrade it, they don't like change. And so, I mean, that's pretty amazing. But yeah, I guess the Android 1.5 is still the most widely used firmware version for devices that access the market. And Google's latest platform version breakdown came a few weeks after the latest report, and it's the first official report since the Droid got 2.1, and I guess 2.1 is now on 32.4% of devices. But then apparently we're going to be getting 2.2 in like a month. So
hopefully we can continue this trend of moving everybody up.
Just getting everybody.
There's always going to be the hardware limitations, but within that,
we're going to see some drop off, I think, with 2.2. Like especially because 2.2 Froyo is going to have Flash.
Yeah.
And I think like the G1,
and
they're just not going to handle it.
Yep.
So so pretty good on the old Android firmware. We're finally kind of saying bye to that, which is good. Something that I thought was really interesting, this a news story that I was kind of not necessarily confused about, but I just thought it was kind of odd, was that Adobe employees, we're all aware of Steve Jobs' hatred for Flash, but apparently Adobe employees are going to be getting free Android phones. And so the whole Flash versus Apple debate has been, everybody taking shots at each other. But apparently, with Adobe looking to show off, CNET was saying that with Adobe looking to show off Flash for Android at Google I/O, the company is also going to be receiving free Android phones that support Flash for their employees. So, I mean,
find that hilarious.
Yeah, like
it's
they
like
give
a
away
below-the-belt
phones.
shot for Google.
Yeah,
Pretty much,
Google's just like, well.
Like, well, if Apple's not going to support you, here's have a bunch of free phones.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
which is, I mean,
it's clever.
Clever and mean.
It is
like
pretty mean. I had to
it's
laugh
so
when I saw
low.
that.
Like it's,
Yeah.
I like it.
I like to see this get a war going on.
Yeah.
Good.
I like one of our chat people says, "Who isn't getting a free Android phone?" You're absolutely right. Everybody's getting a free Android phone.
I'm not getting a free Android
except
phone.
me and Jeff.
God.
We're
We're
the
not
only
working
two
hard
people.
enough.
Apparently, like, we need to like go stand outside Google with like little signs or something, or
Yeah.
maybe we could just lie and say that we're Flash employees. I'm not really sure how that's gonna work, but. We might be able to get one that way, but definitely, like, they're like, what this weekend? What?
Yeah, someday.
Someday we're gonna have free phones from Google. Well, you're a developer. You should have gotten a phone like the first day.
I'm not really an Android developer.
Well, I know, but you're just. I mean, you could. I'm a developer. Like,
That's
you just
true.
have
That's
one
true.
sent to you. I'm thinking about developing for Android. Maybe you get a free one.
Anyone out there? Google.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
anybody wants to take me to
Developer.
Google I/O, apparently they're giving away free phones there too. So, I'll go. I'll go with you. I'll make a nice escort. I look pretty on somebody's arm. As long as I get a free next one out of your swag bag.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. So next story. This is not necessarily an Android story, but it affects Android. Motorola hints at owning a mobile OS, their own mobile OS. They acquired a Zingo, which I personally have never heard of.
Yeah, I hadn't either.
But Motorola's co-CEO, Greg Brown, told Bloomberg that his company was ready to make acquisitions to return to growth. And apparently one of their first deals, according to a LinkedIn profile, so this is all speculative, it appears that Motorola acquired a Zingo, which is a mobile platform company. They make their own operating system, which is based on Linux. So they apparently their Zingo Mobile 2.0 includes comprehensive application suite, including a WebKit-based browser, web runtime, Flash runtime, full developer tools, and then also Motorola's other co-CEO recently hinted at the possibility of Motorola owning their own OS in their first quarter earnings call this year. And he was saying that he always felt that owning your own OS is important. And I know that Google sort of has a pretty strong partnership with Motorola, so I'm not really sure how that's going to go.
I was curious about that decision as well, because, yeah, owning your own OS is great, but that means you have to support your own OS. And Motorola does a very good, well, so far they've done a pretty good job of doing the hardware side of things, and then software-wise, I can't think of anything spectacular that they put out for mobile phones.
But Android-wise, well, you're holding one for mobile phone, hardware-wise.
Right.
Why would they ever want to say, well, we released that Droid, and I guess it wasn't all that successful? Like, that's one of the most successful mobile phones ever.
Yeah.
Like, why would they?
I don't know. I mean, I guess they probably just want to control it, so they have this the whole vertical alignment of, we own the hardware, we own the software, we own the apps and that sort of stuff. But it's puzzling to me that they would do that. I think it's what do I know? But I think it's kind of a poor business decision. I think they should probably throw their chips in with the Android stuff, and then build good hardware.
I can't imagine why they'd walk away especially after the huge success of the Droid.
Yeah.
I mean,
but given that they're both Linux-based, it's possible there could be some overlap in ability to port apps between the two pretty easily.
maybe
It's hard to say.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever heard of this OS. So nobody really knows anything about
it. Motorola hasn't really been, as this person in chat just said, Motorola sucks at doing OSs. Yeah, they pretty much do.
So, and then all right, so we'll get away from that. If they start doing anything important, we'll bring it up on the show. So Google is going to be launching digital books for Android.
It's exciting.
Huge, big deal. I kind of wish Mark was here to talk about the book side of this as an author.
He would be pretty into that.
I'm curious as to what Mark's point of view is on that, but apparently the Wall Street Journal is reporting that Google's launching its own digital book distribution network, like Amazon, Apple iBooks. The service is going to be called Google Editions, and it's looking to launch as early as late June or July. It's going to be a really tough market for them to break into. But if anybody's going to be able to cut a swath in that market, it's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people thought that Google was breaking into a tough market when they were breaking into an iPhone market, smartphone-wise.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that this is definitely going to be something that is going to be huge on tablets, obviously, on any Android.
That's what my immediate thoughts went to is when I have a tablet, which will happen soon, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it'd be awesome to have alternate markets. I don't have to buy everything through, I guess, the Kindle market's probably the only one that's really available at the moment on something not Apple related.
Yeah.
So.
And even then, I mean, I think Google is going to kind of pull an ace out of their sleeve and come up with something really neat and intuitive.
Yeah, I would think so.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I think, and also on AndroidandMe.com, they say if we're willing to speculate, it could also be surmised that Google would need a platform to sell these books on. I mean, they could either construct a new separate marketplace, or ideally they could construct a client for syncing and buying apps, kind of like iTunes. So I think that I agree with what they're saying in a single program for purchasing apps and syncing media would solve pretty much a lot of the decentralization problems that Android faces, especially in the marketplace. But generally speaking, I really hope that they make something that, because right now all we really have is Double Twist in terms of syncing, but it's not native it's not native to Google.
Right, and that doesn't work in Linux either, so. I was reading the comments.
I know. I'm like reading the everyone's like, I just read somebody tell me that my hair is very visual and video codec unfriendly.
I've never heard that one before.
I know. I think that's like either the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me, or no. Is that a compliment? It's very visual. Yes, it is quite the pickup line. I agree. Your hair is very visual and video codec unfriendly.
I don't remember that
If anybody ever comes up to me in the street and says that, I will give you a hug. Okay, so I have Evo news.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yes.
First off, Radio Shack leaked a doc. Apparently, Radio Shack's been, or the Shack or whatever it is it's called. They've been really friendly about like leaking documents. Like people just walked in and started asking questions, and the Radio Shack people are just like, whatever, we don't care. We'll just tell you whatever you want to know. So apparently, there was like a 4-page document saying the Evo 4G is going to be available for pre-order this month, May 2010, and they're going to have a launch in June, which is what we talked about before, the June 6th or the June 13th launch, right around Apple's Macworld, whatever it is that they do. I don't really know. I don't
follow Apple.
Basically, the time when Apple's going to announce their new phone. Like that's how I know it as. The retail price is rumored at $199, which is my favorite price point.
It's pretty impressive for a phone of that caliber. And
incredibly competitive. And I guess Sprint, like apparently Sprint is offering or they have been. I don't know how long they've been doing this for, but. They've been offering a $100 credit if you come from another carrier.
Yeah,
so
I heard about that actually.
After rebates and this credit, you can get an Evo for $99.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
That's insane.
Like people, and I still to this day wonder like why Sprint's doing poorly. Like, I mean, I've heard horror stories about customer service. Like, I personally have not experienced any of that, and I've been with them for 10 years. But,
I was talking about that with a friend in the office who's on Sprint, and he says it's actually probably that they're good in certain locations. Like I think they're pretty good in LA, but as soon as you get outside, you start roaming and getting in real patchy network areas.
But I think that their roaming charges are a little bit different. Like where they do, like if you have an anytime plan or 450 minutes or whatever. Because right now on Sprint, if you're unawares of what's out there, Sprint right now has a thing where it's $69 a month, and you get 450 anytime minutes. You get unlimited mobile to mobile. So no matter what carrier your friends are on, if you're calling them on a cell phone, it's unlimited minutes. unlimited data, unlimited texting, unlimited. They have their turn-by-turn GPS nav, which is really good. If you don't have, I mean, if you have a Google phone and you use Maps, but their turn-by-turn navigation is actually really good. And you get all that for $69 a month, which far outstrips any other national carrier.
Yeah.
And then they're saying that it looks like, hey, they do cater to the least common denominator of customers, but that's me. I'm the lowest common denominator of cell phone customer. I'm cheap. But, you know, the thing is they are, yeah, and see, like, the family plan on Verizon's pretty good. If you're looking for a family plan, then, like, Sprint may not be the place for you, but, like, their individual plans are amazing. And so, for me, like, it doesn't make any sense to say, well, their customer service is really poor. It was a while ago, and that's when they really started bleeding customers, but then they sort of picked it back up. So, yeah. I mean, if you're looking to switch, like, now's the time.
Yeah, I was considering it. And yeah,
you thinking about it?
Yeah, I probably won't, but definitely, like, the fact that they'll pay for you if you switch from a different network, and they replace your phone every year.
Yeah, right. If you spend more than $69 a month on your plan, within 6 months, if you spend consecutively 6 months, $69 or more for your plan, you're a Sprint Premier member, which means you have access to all the really cool stuff that they do for Premier. You also have access to, right now they're running a contest to win an Evo. They do all kinds of stuff like that. And you upgrade your phone every year. You get your $150 rebate credit every year as opposed to every 2.
Yep. Which is pretty sweet for people who like phones.
It's pretty nice, yeah. For people like me, like I need a new phone every year. So
yeah.
And coincidentally, my contract ups the day that I got my pre last year was the 6th of June. So convenient.
That's very nice.
It was almost as if I predicted the Evo.
Yeah.
And they also have the 30-day. You know, we talked about this like a month ago, where they have the 30-day. Trial. Like, if you hate Sprint, like, if you go and you try for 30 days and you hate it, they'll give you every penny back. So,
try it. I don't know. I'm
try
pretty happy.
I mean, it
I
can't
have
hurt.
Verizon, so
yeah, if you're happy with the service
complain.
you have, fine. But, like, if you're on AT&T and you're like, oh my God, this service is terrible. I hate the Edge network. I pay so much money a month for my plan, whatever. I said, just move. Like, try it. Can't hurt.
Yeah.
So, all right. My last piece of Evo news. Oh, and the other thing is still no word yet on 3 things. The OS that's shipping with the phone. I still say it's Froyo. I think at I/O they're going to announce that it's going to ship with 2.2, and Flash enabled already on it.
Yeah, I hope so.
There's also no word on any additional fees for the built-in overdrive for the hotspot, or any 4G data plans. So I've heard from certain people that there won't be an extra charge for 4G, but there'll be a charge for the hotspot, like if you want to activate it as a hotspot, like the overdrive.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, so yeah, I mean, if you're looking to switch, now's the time. Okay, so I'm a little bit upset. I want to talk about this, and you guys are going to be like, this is so petty. Oprah got an Evo before me, and I'm mad because I understand that phone way more than Oprah will. Oprah probably looked at it and then chucked it in a bin full of expensive crap that she has that people send her for free.
All the other phones she got.
I know, all those other phones that she gets, like, she probably still uses, like, she probably uses, like, a candy bar Nokia from, like, 97. Like, I can't even imagine overusing any kind of, like, really high-tech smartphone. She's probably like, well, this is really pretty, and then gave it to Gail. Like, so I'm really mad at you, HTC, because you did not send me an Evo before Oprah. And I understand that Oprah might have a little bit more of an audience than our show does, but I just wanted to say that I saw her talking about the stopping texting while driving campaign and everything, and she just, like, pulls out an Evo, and I was like, you have got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I watched that clip. It was pretty ridiculous.
How rude.
Yeah.
There's video of it, but, like, we can't play it on the show because I'll start crying and then I'll mess up my makeup. That'll just be a big mess.
Yeah, we better move on.
It'll be a big tragedy.
Before something bad happens.
So Google Goggles updated this week, and now they're doing translating.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to try it out yet.
You can now go to your favorite brothel in France and, like, take a picture of a sign, and it'll tell you everything you need to know.
That's pretty exciting.
So cool.
Yeah.
Love that. What do you think in terms of Tripit? I mean, we'll get to Tripit in a second, but in terms of Tripit, I mean, this is a huge thing for you guys. I mean, in terms of travel, like the translation on goggles has got to be really cool for you guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's it's a competitor for Rosetta Stone, I imagine, right? they're trying to come up with their farmer. He was a farmer boy, and she was an Italian model storyline. I don't know if you've seen that ad for Rosetta Stone, but it's interesting. I mean, Google in general, we have a very good relationship with them. Their philosophy of just making information accessible and free across the net. And I would actually like to try the upgraded version and see how well it does. Maybe get a native French speaker and see if the translation is accurate enough. But I also am a big fan of the sort of crowdsourced translation services. Didn't Facebook do that early on when they wanted to get international German pages and things like that? They had Facebook users chime in and try to help them with translation.
I think they did.
Yeah, I think they do, because I remember I was in Thailand for a little while, and so I was getting the Thai version of the site, and then I would always get the pop-up that says, "Do you want to help translate this site?" I'd be like, "I don't really speak Thai, so
no,
my Thai is limited."
It is?
Yeah.
Well, Thai green curry. That's all I can say.
Yep.
But we do get requests from users. I mean, I log into our support desk and people say, "When's the Portuguese version of Tripit coming out?" And we'd love to be able to offer Tripit in every language possible, but luckily English is still a popular language around the world. So and airline codes are all standardized, and we're okay for now. But we obviously would love to be able to expand the service at least into some of the other main languages over time.
Yeah.
But
it's cool. Google's actually embedding language stuff into a lot of their products, like Chrome. If you ever use Chrome, not the operating system, but the browser, you'll see like that pop up on your screen. If you go to a foreign language page, it'll say, "Do you want to help?" or "Do you want to translate this page?" And it'll give you the sort of broken English version of the page, but it's better than often trying to read Japanese. So.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes for good entertainment. I sometimes read German car magazines or car blogs, and they have a Google translated version of the German article, and it does make for interesting sentences every once in a while, given that their verbs come at the end of their sentences. So if nothing else, it's also entertaining. But I think it's just going to keep getting better and better. And if it opens up to people helping refine the algorithm, so to speak, it could be a pretty powerful player, frankly. So.
I wonder if they're going to include Easter eggs in the future, like, on Facebook, how you can, like, change your language to pirate.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if Google Goggles will be able to translate, like, written pirate.
They probably have it already.
I'm sure there's something there that is going to start coming out soon over the intertubes. So.
Yeah.
So, last thing that we'll talk about, and then we'll get into this. We have the clip ready in a little bit, and then but the last thing is, so still no Android tablets, like really viable competitors to the iPad. But apparently, so the Arcos Home 7 tablet, or 7 Home tablet, I'm sorry, fairly interesting. It's $200. It'll get you a 7-inch touchscreen tablet running Android 1.6.
Yeah.
Not super great. The specs are kind of underwhelming, especially now considering like everything that's coming out of that. I mean, even just the Evo. I mean, 4.3-inch screen, $200, and you get 2.2 HD. I mean, you get all these other extras.
Yeah.
So apparently, though, this press release, people were expecting it in May. Now it's not coming till June, which really, at this point, I don't really think it's a good idea to push that back any farther, because it's just going to become more and more outdated.
Pretty much. I was really excited when I heard that there was a tablet coming out, but then I saw 1.6, and I was like, might as well wait a little bit longer.
Well, and like one of our chat people just said, maybe I missed this on a past show, but why would anyone release an Android device not running the most current version of the OS?
Yeah,
thank you.
That's a good question.
That is exactly, like, literally the question that I ask myself on a daily basis when I see new things coming out that run Android 1.6.
Yeah.
Or they're running, I'm like, why? Why?
You're just behind the times.
It seems silly to me, I guess. Okay, so we'll do this clip, and then we will we'll do this clip of the this deconstruction. They did a stop motion. I'm a huge fan of stop motion animation. Okay, like I just want to fair warning to everybody. Like I get giddy. I love stop motion. It makes me so happy. But these guys ended up doing a deconstruction and a reassembly of the HTC Incredible, and it's really cool. So let's roll that. So that's pretty neat. You can see the whole thing if you go online. It's on techrestore.com. You can look it up on YouTube too. And I'm sure our This Weekend chat person will have the link ready. But let's go to our app of the week.
Yay!
So everybody knows that sometimes planning travel, especially when it's more than one person, can be a huge pain. Fortunately, us Android users have apps like TripIt, which is an Android app that will tie seamlessly into their web portal online. And here's a couple of things you can do with TripIt's website and the app. You can organize your trip details into a master itinerary, even if you book arrangements at different travel sites. Like Jeff, you were saying, you really like that.
Yeah, so I've planned a trip because I already had a trip going, and I figured why not just try this app out. So let's see, I rented a rental car from Budget, and then my flight I booked through Virgin. So I just forwarded the emails I got from both those to whatever the email address is for TripIt, and then it parses those emails. What?
Plans@tripit.com.
Yeah, that's the one.
Right behind you, the thing right behind your head, the email.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So it parses through those emails, and then it associates your email address with your account on their webpage or in your app, and then it goes through and it says, you know, this is your confirmation number. Here's where you pick it up. Here's the address, and it gets all the relevant information for you and just collects it all in one place, which is it's pretty sweet. I was impressed.
And then it also has maps, directions, weather in your master itinerary. You have the option to book restaurants, theater tickets, excursions, everything from the online itinerary. And then you can access your travel plans online, share them, check in for flights, print your itinerary, I mean, all that stuff. So today with us, as I said earlier, we have Hootan Mahallati. Is that right?
Yes, you got it. Hootan, yep.
All right, Hootan. So, and he's the mobile product manager for TripIt. So, tell us a little bit about how TripIt began.
Sure. It's actually, you know, quite an interesting story. Our co-founding team, our president, Greg Brockway, and our VP of Business Development, Scott Hintz, they both were at Hotwire, and a lot of other colleagues here at TripIt have worked in the travel and technology sectors for a long time. So first of all, they know the sector and they know the industry and all its complications pretty well. And secondly, everyone here is just a fan of traveling. We think it's one of those joys of life. And sort of the paradox of the internet and the rise of all these different websites, you know, the Expedias and the Hotwires and the Orbitses, which allowed users to have so many options for booking travel, looking for travel and organizing it, or trying to organize it. Has led to complexity. We wanted to solve the problem of organizing all that information using technology. So our company was founded around that mission. Organize people's travel information so that they can focus on the travel itself, the joy of travel, whether it's business or pleasure. And so that's really where it came from. And you know, we've had a great run since we launched, and we love our community of users who really, when they discover what TripIt does for them, it's sort of an endorphin rush moment. When that first email comes in and it pops up in your itinerary, whether it's on the mobile app or online, including myself when I first did it, I was like, whoa, wait a minute, how did that just happen? So that's sort of a little bit of the history of TripIt.
Cool. What year did you guys found TripIt?
So TripIt was started in October of 2006 in stealth mode, and it went live to the market in October of 2007, I believe.
Very cool.
So we've been on the market for 3 years.
Very nice.
A little bit more than 3 years, I have.
So there's two different versions of TripIt for for our viewers. There's, can you explain the difference? Like on the website, there's a free version for everyone to use, and there's also a pro version. So
Sure.
there's not actually a pro version in the market. Like there's the free app in the market, but then there's two different versions of TRIPit you can use in conjunction with that through the web portal. So can you explain a little bit about how the pro version works, what you know, what it doesn't have or what it does have that the free version doesn't?
Sure, I'm really glad you asked because I want to make sure that users understand, at least on the mobile side, the apps are always free on iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry where we have native apps. So let me just if I can take a second to describe the core of what TRIPit does that's free for everyone, then we can understand how that compares to Pro. So the very core of it, as Jeff was just talking about, is forwarding any email that is about travel. Any sort of travel confirmation emails that you get in your inbox, be it from an airline, a rental agency, or a site like Expedia or Orbitz. You forward that email to plans@tripit.com, and you know, don't quote me on this, but usually in a matter of seconds, if you know, things go right, that itinerary is organized for you in your account at www.tripit.com, or if you launch the app on any of the devices that I mentioned. It's automatically there, organized by date, and we include automated maps, for example, from the airport to the hotel. We also have a pure mobile site, m.tripit.com. So for those phones that don't have native capability, older phones, people can still access that information that we have parsed, so to speak, on the mobile devices. So that is available to everyone across the board. On top of that, if you choose, you can build a social network within TRIPit or connect to LinkedIn or Facebook, and I know we might talk about that later. That's not compulsory, obviously, but if you want to share with your brother and sister or your colleagues or your school friends where you're traveling, you can connect to them on TRIPit, and TRIPit keeps track of who's close as one of our features. So if you both happen to be going to Denver at the same time, within the same week, we'll tell you that. Hey, you guys are going to be in the same city. Maybe you want to grab a drink or do a business deal.
Would have been so handy for Tiger Woods.
Probably
Sorry,
not the best
I
fit
just couldn't. It was so easy. It was like you just set it right up, and I just knocked it right. Go ahead, continue, please. I'm sorry.
Awesome. So that functionality we offer everyone. Now, you know, we also have people, the road warriors, who travel so often that our pro service really comes in handy, and that is something you can buy separately, subscribe to from the website or from the app. We have reminders every once in a while that if, hey, you want to track your flights, you can get Pro, and you can just sort of subscribe to it on the mobile site. And that's free for 30 days. So what I recommend is if you're curious about Pro, and I'll tell you the features in a second, wait till your trip is coming up, subscribe, give it a run and see what we do for you. And most people who try it out, and if they're frequent travelers, they keep it. So the Pro feature takes it to another level. And one of the 4 big items is flight monitoring. So let's imagine you're flying from San Francisco to New York, you're connecting in Denver, your connecting flight is canceled due to weather or some change. So we will tell the traveler that, and the people who are connected to that traveler, this flight is delayed. So maybe you're still in San Francisco, and we know about that flight in Denver being delayed. So we can tell you that. And we have an alternate flights button right there in the app or on the web if you happen to be close to a PC, where you can look at other flights on that airline or different airlines and even tell you how many seats are available so you can make a quick decision. You know, if you got a $50,000 business deal waiting for you in New York and you miss that flight and that business goes down the drain, you know, TRIPit Pro really is a small cost in the grand scheme of things. Thirdly, we have a reward program tracking, point tracker. So your airline, frequent flyer programs, your rental car, reward programs, and hotels are automatically tracked. So sort of a mint model where you can provide the login to us. We upload all that information, and we track every transaction and your point status for each of those. And people really love that. They want to make sure that their last flight was counted by their airline. And then finally, Inner Circle. travel managers or typically family members, people who are very close to you, will get automatically notified every time you book a trip. So that, imagine your assistant needs to know where you are and how your trip is going, in case they need to come in and help you or arrange a different hotel or whatever it may be, or just notify the colleagues where you may be. Inner Circle allows people to automatically know where you are within the Tripit realm, sort of the status of the flights, or if you make a change. So those 4 features are Tripit Pro, and like I said, road warriors are the big takers of that. And you can just do a search for Tripit, the testimonials that even the Iceland volcano story. I remember somebody tweeting or writing in actually saying, I'm sitting at home right now instead of being stuck somewhere in England. Thanks to Tripit Pro, you guys told me about my flight, and I got on a ferry, and I saved myself, and I made it back home. So we love those stories.
So you got a little bit of props there. That's nice.
Feedback's good.
Yeah, good feedback.
We were discussing Tripit Volcano Edition at some point.
Tripit Special Volcano Edition. So a lot of people are in our chat room are talking about social integration with the social networking integration, and I know that you can sign into Tripit with your Gmail account, your Google Apps account, or your Facebook account. Now, in terms of further social integration, I know that you were saying like you can share with different people where you're traveling, things like that. But in the future, do you guys think that privacy, because this is becoming like a louder and louder debate. We're hearing, with privacy and like Facebook slowly but surely stripping away every single right to your own information. How do you guys plan to integrate social media without necessarily compromising individual users' privacy?
Critical question, and again, I'm really glad to talk about it. First of all, right now the integration that we have is with Facebook and with LinkedIn. In fact, LinkedIn was first, and it has been a huge help to us in teaching people about Tripit and increasing our user base. But we're very careful about, we obviously know that we have very sensitive information about users. They're trusting us with where they're going to be, when they're going to be there. And we take that information extremely seriously. In fact, if you've activated Tripit on your Android phones, you will have noticed that the first sign-in goes through a secondary authentication process using OAuth. And part of the reason we do that is to just sort of have an extra layer of security for your account. So, against phishing, some of the big names out there have been hacked, and we try to do everything we can technologically possible to make it extra secure. Secondly, sharing information, whether it's on Tripit or whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn, is the choice of the user. So you can just choose to stay within this confined travel organizer world of Tripit between you and yourself, right? Maybe at most your your office assistant. But even when we do open up your information to your network on Facebook and LinkedIn, it's just a very sort of general destination and date, nothing else. So people don't know where you're going to be staying, what airline you're flying on. It's just, hey, you're going to be in New York between May 15th and May 20th, right? And you've decided to open that up to people that you've already connected to, presumably based on trust, right? So that's the extent of what we do from the social networking perspective. And in fact, people love it. Little things like statistics. On Tripit.com, we track how many miles you've traveled, and if you have like 5, 6 friends, there's actually competition between people. It's like, hey, I'm number one. I've traveled the most miles. I want to see that. Right. It's little things like that allows people to share information when they choose to. And traveling, again, is one of those topics. Where'd you go to? What'd you do? Or on Facebook, hey, I'm going to New Orleans. When? I'm going to be there. You should stay at this hotel. That's the extent of it. And that's where we do social integration, is to start those conversations around the topic of travel and make sure that we do not go any further than is sensible with the amount of sharing that we do.
Okay.
Makes sense. I was definitely a little skeptical when I signed up and saw the, make this trip private or public, and I was like, I don't really know if I want people knowing I'm out of town for a week.
Exactly, and and that's not an automatic thing. It's just once you opt into TRIPIT, we're saying, hey, if there are people in your life that you'd like to share this information with, and it may be just, a lot of people write in, it's like, oh, I just set up Android for my husband, or I'm a pro traveler and I want my wife to track the status of my flight. Is that possible? Of course, yeah, it is, and that's part of the reason we have Inner Circle, right? It's those people who are dear to you and are worrying about you or thinking about you when you're on the road, that are just in the immediate trust zone. You can choose to tell them however you want to, however much you want to tell them. So it's opt-in and it's by choice, and we fully understand if people don't want to use it. TRIPIT is not a travel social app. TRIPIT is a travel organization service that also happens to have social features if and when choosers used to take part of those functionalities.
Yeah.
So where do you see TRIPIT in a year from now in terms of available features? Like, and beyond that, I mean, what about 5 years from now? I mean, can you guys, obviously there are things that we can never even in our wildest dreams imagine. Like when we talked about it, your washing machine using Android to tweet you when you're, when your clothes were done washing, things like that. Like, I would never be able to imagine something like that. But generally speaking, where do you see TRIPIT going from here? In terms of expanding, in terms of integrating with other services even more, where do you see TRIPIT going?
Sure. That's, and I can focus on TRIPIT as a whole and also on the mobile side of things. So immediately within the coming year, we're very well aware that we need to have parity between the full level of functionality that we offer on the website on the phones. So we started with the critical information, your flights, and they're cached offline so they can, that information is always available to you. But we're racing and we're working very hard, and we've expanded our mobile team, threefold recently, and we're actually looking for a couple more mobile engineers, as pretty much everyone is out there. But we are investing a lot on the mobile side because it's increasingly becoming, the future is mobile doesn't even make sense to me anymore. It's just morphing. The way people consume information, internet information, is just morphing on. As you guys know, the growth rates are much higher in mobile. 4 mobile devices for every PC sold, and that's just going to keep going. So we're going to focus on mobile devices, connected devices, so tablets and things like that are definitely on the menu. So we're racing to get the mobile devices up to speed with what we have on TRIPIT, and that's sort of getting you to your destination. Then we have to start focusing on things that can help you when you're at the destination, recommendations and things that our users, we do feedback sessions all the time and send emails out and people tell us what they want. And there are fantastic ideas out there, and we really can't wait to get those out. Now, looking forward 5 years, you asked, interesting. Technology changes so rapidly that it's hard to imagine. Just talking about the Evo, how ridiculous is that phone? You have HD video for $99, as you said, with the rebate and mobile hotspot. It's ridiculous. And so one can only imagine what's going to be available then with WiMAX if it ever materializes with 4G. But I'll use an anecdote from one of our users. I was at Macworld a few months ago, and one of the users came up and just without even saying hello, he just opened his TRIPIT app and started showing me his trip, just telling me how much he loved it. And some other guy came and said, "What's that?" "Oh, TRIPIT." Turns out it was his brother, and so his brother starts showing off that he has TRIPIT and all the other apps that use our open API.
Very cool.
And they were talking. They said, you guys are going to be the standard for travel, and that's what we want to be. We want to be the standard organization service of all travel across the internet. There are so many more ways to get information into TRIPIT, and there's so much more that we can do to help the users in an anonymous fashion with that information. Once we've learned where you'd like to go when you go to a particular city, we want to be able to help you with that information that we have learned from you and from others in the network. So that's sort of what I see. There's a lot more work to be done about where we pull in that information from, how we integrate with other services. We frankly would love to be, part of that funnel when you're on a site and you're booking travel and you've decided where you want to go, at the very end, just like we have with Hotwire now, you add a button, add to Tripit, and voila, it's in Tripit, and we do what we do best.
Right. Very cool. So we'll do our last question. If anybody has any other questions for Hootan, where can we find Tripit on the internet? Where can we find you on the internet? How can people get a hold of you?
Sure. We're we are active on Twitter. So twitter.com/Tripit. We check that. We respond to users. We have a Facebook page that we also are on all the time and responding to people's questions. And the critical email for everyone to remember is plans@tripit.com. So you forward anything that lands in your inbox that's related to travel, you forward that to us, and we actually even create an account for you if you don't have one. And once you click on that confirmation link that your itinerary is ready, we take you to Tripit and you can finish the registration process. And obviously Tripit.com is the website. And we have apps in the Android market, iPhones and BlackBerry, and we also have that mobile website, m.tripit.com. So we get on Twitter and ask us questions, and we try to get back to you as soon as possible, and visit our Facebook page. We love hearing from our users, and we get so many ideas, and I want them to know.
There's a lot of really good ones. I just want to say there's a lot of really good ideas in the chat rooms about, business expensing and
absolutely
just various things about integration and expense reports, and also asking about paying users versus free users, and is your business scalable monetization scheme, things like that. So I would love to be able to get to all of the questions, but I already know I already know we're not going to make it to all of them. But my very last question, everyone's going to be like, oh, you're such a cop-out. Why do you think Oprah got an Evo and I didn't?
I think because they locked her into a really, really long contract. So you're probably lucky that you didn't get an Evo, because you can wait for the Froyo device that's coming out after that. So all I know is that she better not put an Evo under every seat in her audience. Otherwise, I'm going to Chicago.
You know what? I would have seriously probably put a foot through my TV if Oprah would have been like, Evos for everybody. I'd have been like, I hate you, Oprah. Like, no. So, but, well, Hootan, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great talking to you, and a lot of really interesting stuff. I'm always amazed every week when our apps and the people who talk about them come in. It amazes me as to the things that are possible on an Android phone. And so I really appreciate you coming on the show and talking to us about Tripit. And you can get Tripit for free in the Android market. And Tripit Pro actually is on a 30-day free trial right now, so you can try that out and see if you like it. If you're constantly traveling, that's the place to be, Tripit Pro. So and you can sign into Tripit site with Facebook, Google Apps, and you can hit up Tripit at tripit.com or on Twitter at Tripit. And Hootan, thanks so much for coming on the show again.
Oh, I love your show, and thank you so much for the opportunity. Your discussions are the type of discussions we have here in the office all the time, geeking out about devices and technology. So big fan of the show, and thanks again. We really appreciate being on your show today.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for the app, too.
Yes.
There's some people in the chat room.
More coming.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, that was our app of the week, Tripit. And I think that's all the time we have. Can you believe it? It went by so quick.
That was pretty quick.
That's, again, I'm going to make the that's what she said joke again, but I won't. I'll stop. We love to geek out.
On that.
We really do love to geek out on this show, and we hope you do too. And so let's see. Let me say our goodbyes, because I had like extra stuff just in case. Mm-hmm. But that was fantastic. What a great interview. So thanks to Hootan Mahallati, the mobile product manager of Tripit. You can find them on Twitter at Tripit. I would thank Mark if he was here, but he's not. He's with Peter Gabriel, so Peter Gabriel can thank Mark Jeffrey. And but I will thank you, Jeff Ammons.
Well, thank you.
As always, it's a pleasure. I really love the. I really like them.
They're feeling nice. I'm afraid to get rid of them almost.
No, I think you should keep them for a while. They look very nice.
Let's see.
And for the user in the chat room who wants to know what kind of phone I use, I have two phones currently. I have a Droid and I have a Palm Pre, because my Droid is my replacement or like my stand-in Android phone until the Evo comes out because my contract is up like the week that phone comes out. So, so yeah, I have 2 phones. I had 3 for a little while when I had the Incredible for review, and that was a really nice time for me. My purse is really,
3 is really
heavy
the
though.
minimum you need.
3, yeah, I need
3.
3 phones. I'm like, I barely use my one phone. Like it's crazy. And you can find Jeff on Twitter at Jeff Ammons.
Yep.
Pretty straightforward. You can find Mark too if you want to ask him about the Peter Gabriel show, because he's obviously much cooler than us. You can find Mark at Mark Jeffrey on Twitter, and you can find me on Twitter at Android Ashley. Again, thanks to all of our viewers out there who watch the show. We have other shows, and they're really good. Like, they're pretty awesome. We have thisweekend.com will take you to all of our other shows, like This Week in iPad, which has been doing phenomenal. It's gotten a great response from people. We have This Week in Cloud Computing. We have This Week in Venture Capital. We have This Week in Startups. We have This Week in Twitter. And, of course, Streamy Award-winning Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. So, and that's Kevin Pollak's show is on Sundays at 3, and you can find all of the other shows on thisweekend.com. It'll list all of our shows and times. And again, thanks for coming out. This has been This Week in Android. I'm Ashley Esqueda and Jeff Ammons. Have a good week.